I'm particularly looking forward to this tour because we have Richard Egarr coming from the UK to direct the program, and the program that's been chosen encompasses 200 years of Baroque music. The audiences will be very interested to see the differences between the composers that they may not have realised, stemming from the early Baroque to the later Baroque and then on to Mozart as well. One of the most interesting things about this program is it starts with a CORELLI Concerto Grosso and it finishes with a HANDEL Concerto Grosso, and both of them are Opus 6 number 1 of each of the composers. CORELLI is not as early as Castello and BIBER, but compared to HANDEL, the styles are very different. The CORELLI is shorter and virtuosic for the strings, very Italianate, which is embellished and ornamented, but very simple in the lines. And when you get to HANDEL, which I think his Opus 6 Concerti Grossi are almost the pinnacle of Baroque concerto writing, along with the Bach-Brandenburgs. It's some of the most rich and majestic and sumptuous Baroque writing that you can get. And he uses the strings to form such a body of sound, whereas the CORELLI is much more transparent and the violin is much more virtuosic. In the middle of those eras we have Vivaldi. Everybody knows the Four Seasons. This particular concerto, which has a soloist Satu Vanska on the Stradivarius. Satu has told me that the second movement of this concerto is reminiscent of Winter from the Four Seasons, which is interesting because it came before, so maybe Vivaldi was trying out some of his ideas. BIBER was a very interesting composer, didn't write that much music. The piece that we're playing, Battalia, is one of his most famous pieces because it depicts a battle, and it's very interesting the way he uses the stringed instruments to make the sounds of the battle. It sets up the scene of the soldiers getting excited and getting ready for the battle. It shows them getting drunk the night before because they're all so excited they drink a lot and then they fall into a slumber. It shows the battle scene itself, and for this he gives instructions that the bass instruments are to be placed opposite each other, and they do a very strong pizzicato as if they're firing, well, cannons, but you could almost think archery or whatever. But there's that sort of picture that's being painted by the composer. And then, of course, after the battle, and you have the horses and all that sort of thing, you have the lament of all the dead. It's a very clever piece of music. Then, of course, finishing with Mozart, piano concerto, in this case on the forte piano, K414, which is one of the most beautiful, in my opinion, of his concertos. And it's just the most joyous, melodic, beautiful Mozart concerto.